1900s, there was this nation called Austria-Hungary. But the nation was not very Austria-Hungarian. Most of their people didn't want to live in there. And it's not only the people that hated it, almost everyone was looking forward to her fall. So I think you get the point that this country was not stable. But let's actually go 50 years back. Wow! There's this new very cool nation called Italy. And look, there's another very cool nation. It's called Germany. And look at this cool new country. Oh, I guess this one is not that cool yet, but these countries unified from their not unified form. But this gave Serbians and the South Slavs the idea of unification, and also to become a very cool country, but the Slavs were ruled by larger powers. So it would not be easy for them as it was for Italy or Germany. So we are back in the 1900s. These countries all hate the Ottoman Empire, which was the Austria-Hungary of the Middle East. Everyone hated them. So these countries got into war with them. And I ain't explaining that because I already made a video about that. The link is in the description. But let's just skip a couple years forward. And Serbia looked like this, and this was their body Montenegro to represent how much the people hated living in Austria-Hungary. When the Archduke of Austria went on a trip to Sarajevo, people hated him so much that they just killed him. The Austrian government thought that Serbia had something to do with this, so they declared war on them. But Serbia was allied with Russia, who was a friend of France, and eventually the British joined. And now we have very big Great War. The Great War, or World War I. Serbia and Montenegro did very well at the start, repelling all the Austrian attacks, but then Bulgaria joined, and everything went downhill for them. But eventually the Triple Entente won, and as I said, everyone hated Austria. Hungary, so a big war in Austria. Hungary started, and Austria-Hungary split up and the Serbs got a lot of land out of it, and I mean a very big land increase here. And now it's called the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovens, but then they just changed their name to Yugoslavia, which means the land of the South Slavs, which was correct in it indeed, was the land of the South Slaves. And now it counts as a very cool united country, united in everything. Now let's travel into the future about 20 years, and another big war started even bigger than the last one, the Second World War. Yugoslavia got invaded by the Germans. In just 12 days, Yugoslavia fell. But that's not that bad of a performance considering Denmark fell in just 6 hours. Like imagine waking up and your country just got taken over while you were asleep, like. But the Yugoslav indeed didn't do bad. They were paid to occupy, and I mean, I wouldn't want to occupy them. Just look what happened to the Duke of Austria and how many cultures are there. And by the end of the war, Yugoslavia and resistance managed to kick out Germany out of their soil. But the problem was the people that liberated Yugoslavia were the communists. So after the war, the communists that liberated the country now run the country, which makes sense, I guess. And they also gave their flag 1 star because you get it. There is 1 star that wasn't funny. Anyways, this new Yugoslav nation was run by 6 different republics because it was a union, and unions were cool amongst the communist nations, but every single republic within Yugoslavia had their own ethnicities. They was not the Soviet puppet, though it went more the neutral way rather than the Soviet way. In the 60s, the country began to reform their system, and now there's 8 republics, and they just got even more power over their land, and giving each republic their own army, which is not a good idea. I mean, but now Tito died. And if you didn't know, he was the dictator of Yugoslavia, but there was no one to replace him. Which is weird. I mean, there was 20 million people in Yugoslavia. How come no one wanted to replace them? But now the republics had to make the decisions. But that was kind of impossible considering all of them wanted different things. I mean, Bosnia hated that so much that their main goal was just to get independence and leave Yugoslavia. And I mean, the country was not doing economically well either. The wages of employees went up, but the businesses didn't have enough money to pay their salaries. So instead of lowering their salaries, they increased the prices of goods. That's making the increment of salaries useless. So inflation happened. I ain't going to explain all the economic stuff here because it's boring, but let's just say there was a lot of problems. Then this guy came and made Yugoslavia Serb-controlled. So in Yugoslavia, there were 8 states, all of them controlling some part of Yugoslavia, but 2 of them were autonomous regions of Serbia. So Serbia now held 2 more seats, and they set up a pro-Serbian president in Montenegro that is controlling half of the seats, so any new policies couldn't be implemented without the support of Serbia. So they succeeded by a free and fair referendum, which was completely legal, but Serbia ain't going to give up. Yugoslavia may have been gone, but Serbia at least wanted to create a greater Serbia, and they founded a country revolution in Croatia. They let Slovenia go pretty easily, but they ain't given up on Croatia, but the Croatians managed to defend their lands with the regional army. Then Macedonia also decided to leave Yugoslavia, but they managed to stay at peace with the remaining parts of Yugoslavia and not join the Yugoslav wars. Then Bosnia also voted to succeed, but with the help of Croatia, only Montenegro remained with Serbia. So they created their own Yugoslavia, removing the socialist from their name, but the fight in Bosnia and Croatia continued, which were felt with a lot, and I mean a lot of war crimes. NATO was horrified at what was happening in Yugoslavia and about all the war crimes. And when Bosnia and Croatia asked for NATO's help, they helped that Serbia had to sign a peace treaty. And now, it was only Serbia and Montenegro. But Montenegro was led peacefully out of Yugoslavia, thus dissolving the nation in 2006, and Balkan lived happily ever after. Right?